A legendary war god covered in badges now kneels humiliatingly on the ground, humbly begging this family for forgiveness, simply because they want to send his daughter, who got into a fight, to Sori for education. To prevent his daughter's future from being tainted by a stain, Lao Jin chooses to silently endure the humiliation. Watching her father's cowardly posture, the daughter feels deeply wronged. Clearly, it was the other side who started the fight, so why is her father the one apologizing? The more she thinks about it, the angrier she gets. Crying, she throws out a bitter line, "If you're powerless, then don't stop me," and runs away. What the girl doesn't know is that the cowardly father before her was once, 20 years ago, the underground emperor who ruled the gangs. With just a glance, he could decide life or death. Unfortunately, Lao Jin is a doting father. To give his soon-to-be-born daughter a safe environment to grow up in, he decided to retreat from the underworld and stay out of worldly affairs. To eliminate all surrounding enemies, he risked his life and infiltrated the military, where he met the top military commander of the Chu kingdom and coerced him into wiping out all underground forces overnight. In the end, Lao Jin's wish came true. All gang forces in the city collapsed in a single night. Lao Jin also became the devoted father he had always hoped to be. He originally believed that such peaceful and stable days would last forever, but little did he know that his weakness and forbearance would ultimately harm his daughter, leading to her abduction by Caifa, leaving her fate unknown. Upon learning of his daughter's situation, Lao Jin decided to abandon patience and return to the underworld. Through his old friend Lao Chen, he successfully located his daughter's whereabouts. Following the bloodstains, Lao Jin arrived at an abandoned warehouse and found a car parked nearby. Inside sat Xiao Zhang, the man who had kidnapped his daughter. Overcome with fury, Lao Jin smashed his fist against the windshield and ordered him to get out of the car. Seeing Lao Jin's aggressive approach, Xiao Zhang refused to come out no matter what. Lao Jin immediately found a piece of wire nearby, inserted it into the lock, and with a loud click, pried the car door open. At that moment, Lao Jin radiated endless killing intent, like a demon god ready to bring harm. He furiously demanded to know where his daughter was. Xiao Zhang looked at Lao Jin as if he were facing the king of hell himself, not daring to hide anything, and revealed everything about Xiao Min. It turned out that a day earlier, they had taken Xiao Min to the riverbank, where Ji Taimei ordered his underlings to stuff her into a sack and cruelly throw her into the freezer. So unless something unexpected happened, Xiao Min should be in the freezer now. Just as Lao Jin was about to ask for the freezer's exact location, a black-clothed man suddenly swung a steel pipe at his back. As a once mighty overlord, Lao Jin had long trained his body to be as tough as iron, so such an attack couldn't hurt him at all. Reacting swiftly, he punched toward the assailant. Seeing Lao Jin locked in combat, Xiao Zhang seized the opportunity to escape from the car. He shoved aside a truck driver who was eating a hamburger and hijacked the vehicle. From the rearview mirror, he saw Lao Jin relentlessly chasing after him, his face showing worry. Rain poured down on Lao Jin's aging body, but instead of slowing him, it made him run even faster. For his daughter, there was nothing he wouldn't do. The next moment, Lao Jin leaped and kicked toward the driver's seat where Xiao Zhang sat. Because of Lao Jin, Xiao Zhang couldn't see the road ahead and ended up driving the truck straight into the sea. At the critical moment, Lao Jin grabbed Xiao Zhang and dragged him out. "Don't even think about escaping. Even if you run to the ends of the earth, I'll catch you," he growled. "Hurry up and tell me where the freezer is. I'm going to save my daughter now." Meanwhile, Xiao Min regained consciousness. She stood up and checked her surroundings, realizing she was inside a freezer. She pushed the door with all her strength but couldn't open it. She screamed desperately for help, but no matter how loudly she shouted, no one answered. Hunger, cold, and helplessness intertwined, suffocating her. Just when despair was taking over, she suddenly heard the sound of the lock turning. Seeing a familiar figure, Xiao Min thought it was her father. She rushed forward, ready to embrace him, but the voice that followed made her choke back her words. It wasn't her father, but Ji Taimei, the man who had tied her up and thrown her in. Ji Taimei had only wandered into the warehouse out of boredom, but at that moment, a man suddenly rushed out and shoved him aside, cursing, "How dare you mess with President Zhu? Do you have a death wish?" Hearing this, Ji Taimei immediately pulled out a dagger and stabbed the man's chest multiple times, killing him on the spot. During the scuffle, Ji Taimei's phone fell to the ground. Xiao Min saw the caller ID, 3 characters, Zhu Shezhang. She remembered the blonde girl she fought earlier also had the surname Zhu. Could her imprisonment in the freezer be related to that girl? Before she could piece everything together, Ji Taimei bent down slowly to pick up the phone. Xiao Min quickly covered her mouth and nose, not daring to make a sound. No matter how she ended up here, she had now witnessed a murder firsthand. Even if she was innocent, she had become a witness, and the killer would never let her leave alive. Ji Taimei had just picked up the phone when Zhu Shezhang called again. Without hesitation, Ji Taimei answered on speaker. "President Zhu, how are you? What can I do for you?" "It's nothing serious," Zhu Shezhang replied. "My daughter's gotten into a bit of trouble. She killed her classmate Xiao Ning. How's the cleanup going?" Ji Taimei scoffed. "Cleanup? I've already thrown the body into the freezer. Later I'll find a place to secretly get rid of it." Zhu Shezhang nodded with satisfaction. "Well done, Ji Taimei. I'll give you a raise tomorrow." Upon hearing this, Ji Taimei's face darkened. "Don't talk to me in that tone. I have the evidence of your daughter's crime. If you don't want her to go to prison, prepare 10 billion yuan and deliver it to the freezer tomorrow, or I'll hand the evidence to the police." With that, Ji Taimei angrily hung up the phone. Xiao Min watched his figure gradually disappear and exhaled in relief. As Ji Taimei stepped out of the warehouse, heavy rain began to pour. She patted the dust off herself and was about to go back inside to take shelter when she saw a pair of eyes staring at her through a crack. Realizing she'd been spotted, Xiao Min slammed the door shut and locked it. Ji Taimei pounded on the door from outside, demanding that she open it. Xiao Min covered her ears, pretending not to hear. After banging for a while, Ji Taimei let out a long sigh. "Then let's drag this out," she muttered. "Let's see who can hold out longer," Ji Taimei sneered. "It's so cold inside the freezer, I doubt you can last much longer." At this moment, Xiao Min was shivering violently from the freezing temperature inside the cold chamber. She looked at her stiffened hands and exhaled a long, trembling breath. "Dad, where are you?" she whispered. "If only Dad were here right now." The two sides remained in a standoff for about 10 minutes before Ji Taimei spoke again. "Little one, why don't you open the door and talk it over with Uncle? I'll let you go. We've never even met. I have no reason to hurt you." Xiao Min silently lowered her head and cried softly, "Stop lying. I saw the entire murder with my own eyes. If I go out, you'll kill me." Hearing this, Ji Taimei's lips curved into a chilling smile. Then, he slowly pulled a dagger from inside his coat. "Little girl, before you reminded me, I really did plan to let you go. After all, killing people is nothing new to me. If you had pretended not to know, you could have lived a good life." Terrified, Xiao Min curled her body tightly, feeling deep fear from Ji Taimei's threats. Just as Ji Taimei was about to break in by force, he suddenly noticed Xiao Zhang running toward him from not far away. Confused, he questioned him, "What happened to you? Why does your face look like that? And why didn't you answer my calls?" Xiao Zhang tried to explain, but before he could finish, Ji Taimei suddenly stabbed him in the stomach. With a thud, Xiao Zhang collapsed to the ground in pain. "The reason you didn't answer my calls, you must have colluded with Zhu Shezhang to take me down, right? Unfortunately for you, I saw through your plot. You won't get the chance to act." Xiao Zhang struggled to get up, insisting, "That's not it. I didn't answer because of the guy behind me." At that moment, Lao Jin appeared, radiating a murderous aura like the Grim Reaper from hell. He demanded to know where his daughter Xiao Min was. Ji Taimei looked confused and claimed he didn't even know who Xiao Min was. Without hesitation, Lao Jin threw a punch at him. Realizing Lao Jin meant business, Ji Taimei immediately shouted, "Son!" The next second, a boy in camouflage clothing suddenly appeared and stood in front of Ji Taimei. His name was Xiao Hai. Orphaned at a young age, he had been adopted by Ji Taimei, who raised him as an assassin. Ji Taimei ordered Xiao Hai to hold nothing back and kill the intruder, believing Lao Jin was sent by Zhu Shezhang to silence him. If you fail this mission, don't bother coming back, he threatened. Xiao Hai nodded firmly, promising to complete the task. Soon, Lao Jin and Xiao Hai clashed fiercely, but within a few rounds, Lao Jin overpowered and knocked him to the ground. Without wasting time, Lao Jin rushed toward the warehouse. Whether his daughter was alive or dead, he had to find Xiao Min, even if it meant bringing her body home intact. But suddenly, Xiao Hai rose again like a beast, sprinting toward Lao Jin at incredible speed. Lao Jin turned and sent him flying with another punch. If my daughter were still alive, he growled, anyone standing in my way would already be dead. But unfortunately, she's probably 80% gone by now. As he spoke, tears of grief rolled down his face. Hearing this, Xiao Hai let out a heart-wrenching roar. If I can't kill you, my father will kill me. So today, no matter what, I have to kill you. Seeing his determination, Lao Jin grabbed Xiao Hai by the collar. The owner of this phone was thrown into the freezer. I came only to find my daughter's body. If he were your real father, he'd never want to kill you. There isn't a single real father in this world who wants to kill his own child. Xiao Hai tried to speak, but Lao Jin interrupted him. Enough. Real family would never do something like that. The only reason I'm sparing you is because you're about the same age as my daughter. With that, he turned and walked away without looking back. Lao Jin's words left Xiao Hai frozen in place. For the first time, he began to understand the true meaning of family. Every time something went wrong, his father always made him take the blame, often forcing him into extremely dangerous situations. He used to think all fathers were like that, so he silently obeyed for years. But hearing Lao Jin's words today, he finally realized how pathetic his life had been. Lao Jin glanced at Xiao Hai lying on the ground one last time, then quickly ran toward the freezer. When he arrived, he found a man covered in blood lying on the floor, but his daughter was nowhere to be seen. Picking up a strand of hair from the ground, he immediately recognized it as Xiao Min's. Staring blankly at the hair, he suddenly looked 10 years older. Grabbing Ji Taimei by the collar, he demanded to know what had happened and where his daughter was. Ji Taimei stayed silent, so Lao Jin slapped him repeatedly. After several blows without a response, Lao Jin threw him to the ground. He had likely passed out, so there was nothing more to get from him for now. Suddenly, Lao Jin noticed a line of words on the floor, Dad, I'm sorry. I'm so scared. His pupils widened instantly as he crouched down to examine the writing. He recognized his daughter's handwriting. Overcome with emotion, he realized the message had been written not long ago, which meant his daughter was still alive. But who was the person trying to fake her death and cover up the crime? And what did this have to do with these thugs? Thinking for a moment, Lao Jin suddenly remembered Ji Taimei had mentioned Zhu Shezhang's name during the earlier fight. Could it be that all of them were sent by Zhu Shezhang? Just the thought of this man, the one who almost separated him from his daughter forever, filled Lao Jin with rage. In his heart, he swore that once he found his daughter, he would kill every last person connected to Zhu Shezhang. After calming himself, Lao Jin quickly rushed out of the warehouse. Xiao Min had to be nearby, she couldn't have gone far. Finding her was his top priority. Meanwhile, Ji Taimei, who had been lying unconscious, suddenly woke up. Remembering what happened earlier, he shuddered. Half an hour before, while Lao Jin was fighting Xiao Hai, Ji Taimei had secretly slipped back to the warehouse to kill the girl who had witnessed his crime. As the lock turned with a click, he entered the room. He saw an ankle exposed from under the blanket and smiled sinisterly. Then he pulled out a dagger and, without hesitation, stabbed the figure under the covers dozens of times. Only after that did he breathe a sigh of relief. I stabbed so many times, even if she were made of iron, she must be dead by now, he thought. But in the next moment, Xiao Min, who should have been dead, suddenly appeared behind him like a ghost. Hearing movement behind him, Ji Taimei turned around quickly, but it was too late. Xiao Min had already swung a metal pole straight at him. The frozen salted fish was like the scythe of death, smashing toward his forehead. With a loud splash, Ji Taimei was knocked unconscious. Xiao Min immediately ran frantically toward the outside of the warehouse. He had to escape this hellish place as fast as possible. Meanwhile, Lao Jin was sprinting through the heavy rain in search of his daughter, shouting Xiao Min's name with all his strength. Xiao Min heard someone calling and instantly stopped. It sounded like his father's voice. He turned back and saw no one behind him, sighing deeply. How could Dad possibly appear here? It must be his longing creating an illusion. He got up again and ran toward the exit. At this moment, Lao Jin was nearly going insane. The warehouse was so big, how could he find her? Just as he was lost in thought, he suddenly spotted a pile of discarded boxes 5 meters ahead. Without hesitation, he leaped onto them. Rain could wash away the sweat on his body, but nothing could stop his steps toward his daughter. As he ran, he kept shouting his daughter's name, but no matter how loudly he called, no one responded. Suddenly, Lao Jin saw a girl in a school uniform ahead. The moment he saw her, he froze on the spot because it was his daughter, Xiao Min. Before he could even shout her name, Xiao Min flipped over the fence and reached the highway. As a father, Lao Jin was frantic, yelling her name desperately, but the sound of rain was too loud for her to hear. Reaching the highway, Xiao Min waved frantically at passing cars, begging kind drivers to give her a ride home. Unfortunately, no matter how she waved, none of the cars stopped. Some even splashed water onto her face. The helplessness and bitterness drove her into despair once again. Meanwhile, Ji Taimei, who had been knocked unconscious by Xiao Min, slowly got up. He wanted to escape the warehouse quickly. If Zhu Shezhang's men arrived, he'd be finished. Just when he was only inches away from the door, the previously stabbed Xiao Zhang suddenly appeared. Without hesitation, Xiao Zhang shut the door and locked it from the outside. Ji Taimei banged on the door desperately, begging him to open it, but Xiao Zhang ignored him and walked away without looking back. About 2.5 hours later, the door suddenly opened with a loud click. Ji Taimei, thinking it was Xiao Zhang, was overjoyed, but just as he prepared to walk out freely, his pupils widened in shock. A group of men in black suits suddenly rushed in. They were Zhu Shezhang's most trusted subordinates. Without saying a word, they kicked Ji Taimei, sending him flying, then flashed in front of him and forced his mouth open. Using pliers, they pulled out his gold teeth one by one. One man in a suit said they were sent by Zhu Shezhang. Although Ji Taimei had committed unforgivable crimes, he was still useful. They decided to give him a chance to redeem himself. Regarding the murder case involving Zhu Shezhang's daughter, if the truth were exposed, someone had to take the fall. So they decided he would be the scapegoat. After serving decades in prison, he could continue working for Zhu Shezhang. Hearing this, Ji Taimei gave a dim smile. You even prepared the crime for me. How thoughtful. He sighed helplessly and asked for a cigarette. Without hesitation, the man in the suit lit one and placed it in his mouth. After taking a drag, Ji Taimei sighed, there's no time for romance in a man's life. If a man doesn't lick blood from the blade's edge, is he even a man? With that, he bit down on his tongue. The bald man immediately sensed something was wrong and warned the suited man that Ji Taimei was trying to bite his tongue to kill himself. Realizing his intent, the suited man pried at Ji Taimei's cheeks to stop him, but it was too late. Ji Taimei had already succeeded, spitting a mouthful of blood. In his dying moments, he gave them a dim smile. You're all doomed. The girl in the freezer is still alive, and she's escaped. You'll all die. With that, he collapsed in a pool of blood. Upon hearing that Xiao Min was still alive, the bald man frowned. He didn't dare delay and immediately informed Zhu Shezhang. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, Zhu Shezhang wasted no time and ordered his men to launch a citywide manhunt. Even if they had to dig 3 feet into the ground, they had to find the girl. Meanwhile, Lao Jin climbed over the fence onto the highway. Just as he eagerly expected to reunite with his daughter, the sight before him made his pupils dilate. There wasn't a single person on the road. Once again, he had missed his daughter. However, his mood was better than before, at least he now knew she was still alive. But what he didn't know was that his daughter was now in grave danger, sitting inside Zhu Shezhang's car. Zhu Shezhang looked at Xiao Min in front of him with a subtle smile. He never expected that the random girl he picked up on the road would turn out to be his daughter's classmate. Xiao Min. Lao Jin's heart was beating faster than usual. he had a bad feeling. If he didn't find Xiao Min soon, he might never see her again. He immediately pulled out his phone and dialed a mysterious number. Once the call connected, Lao Jin wasted no time revealing his identity. The person on the other end asked what he wanted. Lao Jin let out a long sigh. "It's nothing big. I just need you to reinstate my license to kill. I'm going back to my old ways to save someone." Later, Lao Jin met with Lao Chen again. Through surveillance, they discovered that Xiao Min had gotten into Zhu Shezhang's car. Upon learning that his daughter had once again fallen into Zhu Shezhang's hands, Lao Jin didn't dare waste a second. He immediately hopped onto Lao Chen's motorcycle and sped toward Zhu Shezhang's mansion. Meanwhile, Xiao Min had already arrived at Zhu Shezhang's home. After taking a shower, she sat in the meeting room face to face with him. Zhu Shezhang asked if she remembered the argument she had with his daughter a few days ago. Xiao Min said she had lost her memory, all memories from that day were gone. She couldn't recall anything. When she woke up, she found herself in the freezer. Zhu Shezhang pursed his lips. "I see." He then asked if she saw a bearded man in the freezer. Xiao Min nodded, saying the man was terrifying and had chased her with a knife the moment they met. Luckily, she ran fast enough to survive. Zhu Shezhang sighed deeply. "So that's how it was. But according to my men, you and my daughter, Zhu Li, are classmates, aren't you?" Zhu Shezhang asked. "Do you still remember her?" Xiao Min nodded, indicating that she and Zhu Li once had a small conflict, but that was all in the past, and they had reconciled. Zhu Shezhang nodded in relief. "Zhu Li is a kind child. I'm glad you made up with her. You must care about her a lot," he said. Xiao Min nodded again, and Zhu Shezhang continued, "She's my only daughter. No matter what mistakes she makes, I'll help her fix them. Whatever she wants, I'll do everything I can to give it to her." Then, Zhu Shezhang slowly stood up, patted Xiao Min on the shoulder, and said, "My daughter said she wants to kill you. Tell me, as her father, what should I do?" Xiao Min's pupils widened in shock, and cold sweat soaked her back. Seeing her reaction, Zhu Shezhang smiled faintly. "Don't be afraid. I'm not a bad person. You've been pretending to be unconscious for so long, and I haven't exposed you," he said. Xiao Min's eyes trembled. "When did you find out?" she asked. Lowering his voice, Zhu Shezhang leaned closer and whispered, "I noticed the moment you pretended to fall asleep after getting in the car. If you were truly unconscious, you wouldn't have been so tense in your sleep." Then, Zhu Shezhang gave an order to his bodyguard in a suit, "Get rid of the girl quietly." The suited man immediately pulled out a syringe from inside his jacket. At this moment, Xiao Min fell into utter despair, crying out for her father over and over again. The suited man told her to relax and not to move. "Just one shot, and it'll all be over. You'll slip away quietly without feeling a thing," he said as he grabbed Xiao Min's wrist and prepared to inject the poison. But suddenly, several gunshots rang out from outside. Realizing something was wrong, Zhu Shezhang ordered the suited man to move Xiao Min to another location and finish the job later. The reason for the gunshots downstairs dated back to 5 minutes earlier, when the chief arrived at Zhu Shezhang's mansion and rang the doorbell several times. No one responded, so in a fit of anger, he slammed the gas pedal and drove his armored vehicle straight through the gates. The security guards, seeing several armored vehicles entering the courtyard, rushed out and warned them, "This is Zhu Shezhang's home. Do not trespass." The chief immediately jumped out of the car, fired several shots into the air, and shouted, "We're from the state. Step aside." The reason the chief brought an armored unit to Zhu Shezhang's home was because of Lao Jin. Recently, they had been searching for a wanted criminal named Lao Jin. Their investigation revealed that Lao Jin's identity was extremely mysterious. Not only had he served as a commander in the country's elite forces, but he had also infiltrated the underworld as an undercover agent, eventually becoming the underground emperor of the entire region. Later, it was said that he retired from the underworld for his daughter's sake, abandoning everything to take care of her. But now that he had reappeared, the top authorities ordered that Lao Jin must be captured at all costs and handed over to the highest military command for handling. To track him down, they had spent an entire night reviewing surveillance footage and discovered that Lao Jin seemed to be searching for his daughter. So when they saw Xiao Min get into Zhu Shezhang's car, they immediately headed to his mansion without hesitation. The chief believed that if they found Lao Jin's daughter, Lao Jin himself would come out of hiding to find her. That's why the chief suddenly stormed Zhu Shezhang's estate earlier. After firing several shots into the air, the chief shouted for the guards to move aside, saying they were only there to search for someone. Zhu Shezhang looked down from the window at the commotion below. Instead of fear, a faint smile appeared on his face. But when he came downstairs, he found himself surrounded by the chief and his men.